And I think it'd be very funny to see England lose to Denmark and everyone just looks at Rasmus Højlund like, yeah, you are a very good player. Because he is a very, very good player.
With such a quality that is just unusual for such a young kid.
So it's been crazy to think about the 16 goals that he scored, the way he holds up the ball, the fact that he's still scoring for Denmark, and he was one of the top scorers in European qualification as well.
Very similar to Haaland. He's quite tall, strong, quick, keeps the ball well, link ups well, and actually scores a lot of goals.
Group of death now, Mika. Group C. England, Denmark, Serbia, and of course, the mighty Slovenia. Oh, I'm scared. I don't think we're going to make out the group. I think it's going to be very, very
Oh,
difficult.
no way. Well,
All
you
I'm
have to
saying,
be a bit biased.
I have to be a bit biased here. Rasmus Højlund will score a hat trick against Manchester United with the way that our defenders are looking. Stones looks like he could be injured. Maguire looks like he could be injured as well. It could be very worrying. And I think it'd be very funny to see England lose to Denmark and everyone just looks at Rasmus Højlund like, yeah, you are a very good player. Because he is a very, very good player. England, we've got so many incredible wonder kids on our side. We can talk about Jude Bellingham all day, every day. And I think we should avoid Jude Bellingham for now because I think the audience, everyone knows about Jude Bellingham. So we're not really going to add any more information to Jude Bellingham. But because we are both Manchester United fans, let's go a bit biased here. Mika explained it perfectly. We have to be a bit biased here. Show our favourite wonder kids to talk about. FA Cup winner, baller in the midfield, the Stockport Seedorf, Kobbie Mainoo. Mika, talk to me. What have you loved about him this season?
Absolutely everything. Absolutely everything. He basically he was injured in the first half of the season, and as soon as he came on, I think everyone saw what we were lacking in the midfield, and we were lacking him in the midfield. He's absolutely amazing. Obviously, England has a lot of talented players such as Phil Foden and Jude Bellingham, as you mentioned, and many others. But we have to mention Kobbie Mainoo because well, he's the one who has the least experience on a senior level, but he plays like a 35-year-old experienced player in the midfield, and he plays in a position that is one of the hardest to, let's say, master. And he plays with so much confidence and with such a quality that is just unusual for such a young kid. And I've been impressed so many times, and I believe that he can be a very good player for England. Not sure, like you're more qualified to say this, but not sure if he's able to start playing regularly in the starting lineup when you have Jude Bellingham and others more experienced players. But he has quality.
For me personally, I've said it recently, I don't want him to start because we've seen it before with Manchester United players. When a Man United player starts for England, they have more pressure on them than other players. So even with Rashford out of the squad, who I wanted to be in the squad, it's a blessing in disguise, really. He gets to rest, he gets to recover, he gets to recuperate, and he gets to then join the Man United preseason with a fresh fitness as well. With Kobbie Mainoo, I don't want him to start. Personally, I'd like to see Trent Alexander-Arnold and Declan Rice. I think there will be games where Mainoo will come on second half, and maybe we have a midfield trio of Mainoo, Trent, and Bellingham, or Mainoo, Bellingham, Rice, because it allows more control in the game. We've got a goal, we've got 2 goals. We just need to keep the ball. And England have been lacking a ball playing technical midfielder for years now.
Mhm.
We've had 2 destroyers in Calvin Phillips, Jordan Henderson, Declan Rice always being there, but this season for Arsenal, Declan Rice has been more of a number 8, moving forward, scoring goals, taking set pieces. Mainoo's been an 8. The Manchester Modric, the Stockport Seedorf, I'd love to see him start, but I don't want to have him. He can handle the pressure. There's no doubts about it. We saw in the preseason, in the international friendlies beforehand, he can handle it against Brazil. He can handle it against Belgium. But for me, international football, international tournament is very unforgiving. You're always going to be criticized for what you do at international football. So for me personally, I don't want him to start, but I know Gareth Southgate will want him to start. So we're gonna have to wait and see how it goes. It will be good fun. And Kobbie Mainoo, England's best wonder kid, I'm happy and I'm here for it. Denmark, it can't not be Rasmus Højlund. Come on now, Mika. He's been unbelievable this season in the worst Manchester United team in the 21st century. So it's been crazy to think about the 16 goals that he scored, the way he holds up the ball, the fact that he's still scoring for Denmark, and he was one of the top scorers in European qualification as well. What have you loved about Rasmus Højlund this season? Because basically, Friday Night Counterattack has turned into a Rasmus Højlund and Kobbie Mainoo fan club. My co-hosts don't like me for that, but they're not doing the editing. I'm doing the editing, so I'm happy with what I'm posting out, which is good.
Yeah, the thing is with Rasmus Højlund, I believe he's so underrated because as you said, this Manchester United side is one of the weakest, if not the weakest, in the 21st century. And the thing is that with the amount of goals that he was able to score, with the quality of chances that he's been getting, and with the amount of passes that he's been receiving, is absolutely incredible. I think he has, if I'm not mistaken, I've come across some stats on Twitter, and I believe he had the best goal conversion among at least top six center forwards in the Premier League, which is incredible
With the
when
least amount of shots as well in the whole
exactly
season.
that's the thing. So well, to be better at something in a certain stat than Erling Haaland is nearly impossible, and he's been. And I'm really excited to see him at this tournament in a very interesting Denmark side, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him next season at Manchester United, and hopefully he stays fit and not injured all the time.
Absolutely, because again, when he's been overplayed for his first season in Premier League football, it's been brutal for Rasmus Højlund to play Champions League football, Carabao Cup, FA Cup all season long because he's not been able to have a break. Anthony Martial was injured and there was no backup striker. So Manchester United definitely need another striker to soften the burden on Rasmus Højlund, let him develop properly. He's still a kid at the end of the day, and we don't want to rely upon a kid all the time, like we have done with Kobbie Mainoo, Alejandro Garnacho, another one as well. So more to come from Rasmus Højlund, and I'm looking forward to it because they've had strikers like Branthwaite, Jonas Wind, Dolberg as well. But Rasmus Højlund, he's got to be the big striker for Denmark for the next 5-10 years, I would say, in my opinion. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be there supporting Denmark against England because of Rasmus Højlund, my boy. Serbia. Ooh, this is difficult because Dusan Vlahovic is no longer a wonder kid, and I've loved watching him play. So we're gonna have to go for someone who may not make the first team, but I'm happy to see where we're going because we still are sticking with Serie A, aren't we, Mika?
Yeah,
Where are we going with
yeah,
this one?
definitely. Definitely. For this one, I've picked Lazar Samardžić from Udinese. Well, obviously, Serbia has always been the side who provides, who basically develops a lot of youngsters. But this time, I think when I looked at their squad, I think some of the young players, like those who are 20, 19, 18 years old, like this age group, they are just so young and inexperienced that I don't think they will even get a fair chance. So that's why I've gone for Lazar Samardžić, who's not very young. He's 22 years old, and also he has good experience in Italy. He's a good midfielder who can also play, who can drift out wide at times, and he can sometimes be sort of a wide playmaker. He doesn't have great pace, so he's not explosive or something like that. But what he can do is he can create chances from, especially from the right flank. He can provide good in-swingers with his left foot and also line-breaking passes. So that's why I can see him making this good in-swinger to Mitrovic, who obviously scores with the header. So I think it's going to be interesting to see him if he gets a good chance in the starting lineup or in the first team. So yeah, let's see. He's been quite good in Italy this season, especially when his side needs to keep the ball because he's quite good at keeping the ball in tight spaces. So yeah, it's going to be interesting indeed.
Yeah, it's true. I'm looking forward to seeing more of him as well because he's not someone I've kept an eye on the season whilst watching Serie A. So, let me pronounce it properly. Lazar Samardžić?
Maybe Samardžić, maybe, or something like that.
Samardžić. It's the D and
Sorry
the
for
Z
the
at the end.
pronunciation.
Yeah, the D and the Z at the end is crazy.
Yeah.
Samardžić. And with Serbia, we know they play rigid football as well. They play with the one striker, so Vlahovic will be on the bench. So Samardžić, if he does get on the pitch, he'll have a lot more ownership on him to create from the middle, with Kostic on the left, with Mitrovic in the middle. It's going to be fun to see how Serbia play, and they're going to be very, very difficult to break down, of course, as well. Right then, the mighty Slovenia, Benjamin Sesko, no messing about. I've loved watching him grow this season at RB Leipzig. RB Leipzig was so confident in Benjamin Sesko. They loaned out Timo Werner back to the Premier League, to Tottenham Hotspur of all teams, and then staying there for another season as well, because you got Benjamin Sesko working with Lois Openda, with Xavi Simons, who was on loan. That was a ferocious attacking lineup. And of course, Daniel Olmo was fantastic in that front four for Marco Rose's team. What's your thoughts on Benjamin Sesko? Does he have what it takes to be a top level striker? Because we haven't really seen that from Slovenia for a good number of years now, a top level player in their national team. Let's hear your thoughts, Mika.
Yeah, definitely. I think he has a very good potential. And I've always said that there are two categories of players that I categorize as Bitcoins in football.
Oh dear.
One is a target man, goal scoring center forward, and the other one is a left footed center back. If you have quality players in those two positions, then you are most probably guaranteed to sell them for a high price, because
Rare
they are.
commodities.
Yes, absolutely. And if you look at Sesko, he's a target man center forward who is who's a full package. He's a target man center forward who can hold up the play and link up with his teammates, but at the same time
He's
score.
so quick as well. So quick.
Absolutely. If you look at Haaland, he's very similar to Haaland. He's quite tall, strong, quick, keeps the ball well, link ups well, and actually scores a lot of goals. So it's quite interesting to see. And I've seen some rumors about him being linked to Arsenal. And but yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see him in the Premier League, obviously.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'd like to see him at Manchester United have a friendly competition with Rasmus Højlund as well. The same similar type of profile of striker. They both don't like playing as target men. They like playing as strikers who can run onto the ball over the top and not really having to have that physical battle. And I think that's what a lot of these young modern strikers, they're being pegged down as being strong and physical, but they want to kind of avoid that because they want to be more on the ball. They want to have more shots on goal. And unfortunately, the Premier League doesn't allow you to be like that. It's very brutal and unforgiving at times. And as we've seen with Rasmus Højlund, he's had to adapt his game since moving to England as well.